Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started then. Like I said, you should have out your section 1-9 notes. Okay, and yesterday I did have internet issues a lot during the day, so I'm going to try teaching on my smartboard today, and hopefully that will pick up my voice, and then I won't have so much of a lag because yesterday I was writing on a tablet connected to my computer. All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to have equations that have 3 variables, and there's going to be 3 of them. And this takes quite a bit of work, and it's very easy to make a mistake, so you have to be very careful, okay? The first thing I do is I think of these as what I number them, like 1, 2, 3. And what I do is I look at my x's, the numbers in front of my y's, and the numbers in front of my z's, and I try to think about which one I'm gonna have to pick 2 equations twice and try to eliminate either the x's, the y's, or the z's. And I look at which one has the smaller numbers in front of, or are there any that would just naturally cross out? And if you look at equation 1 and 2, your z's would cross out. And the number in the third one is just a 3, so that'd be easy to work with. So what I'm going to do is decide to eliminate my z's. Now there really isn't a right or wrong. So if I eliminated my z's and you eliminated your y's or your x's, we should all get the same answer. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to take equation 1 and 2, and I'm going to eliminate my z's. Okay, so I am going to write those down. So I have x plus 3y minus z equals -11, and 2x plus y plus z equals 1. Okay, and what we talked about is in this one, your z's naturally cross out. That won't always happen, but in this one it does. Then you add down just like we did when we had 2 equations and 2 variables. So 1x plus 2x is 3x, 3y plus 1y is 4y, -11 plus 1 is -10, okay? And this equation down here is something we're going to use going on, but right now I'm going to leave it. Okay, so now I want to pick a different 2 equations and eliminate the same variable in that one. Now I just took 1 and 2, so my options would be to take 1 and 3 and try to eliminate the z, or take 2 and 3. Again, wouldn't matter. You just kind of decide and go with it. So I'm going to take 1 and 3. And again, you have to eliminate the same variable that you did the first time. So I'm going to eliminate my z's again. So I'm going to write down x plus 3y minus z equals -11, and 5x minus 2y plus 3z equals 21. And again, we have to eliminate our z's. So what I would do then, my bottom equation has plus 3z, so my top one has to have minus 3z. So I take this whole top equation and multiply it by 3. Okay, so when I do that, I have 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 3y is plus 9y, 3 times -z is minus 3z, and 3 times -11 is minus 33. Okay, then what I'm going to do is cross these out. My z's cross out and add going down. So this is 8x, -2y plus 9y is plus 7y, and 21 minus 33 is -12. So now if you look at these two equations, this one and this one, I have two equations that have two variables. And now we're right back to where we were in the first, or a couple of sections ago before Christmas, where now we have to just deal with those two. So I'm going to write those down again. 3x plus 4y equals negative 10, and 8x plus 7y equals negative 12. Now again, we need to do something to get rid of our x's or get rid of our y's. 3 and 8 both go into 24. 4 and 7 both go into 28. You could get rid of either of them. I'm going to try to get rid of my x's, okay? So I want one of these to be plus 24x, and I want one to be minus 24x. I'm going to multiply my top by 8 and get that to be plus 24x. I'm going to multiply my bottom one by a negative 3. Remember, you multiply that 8 times all three things. So I get 24x plus 32y equals negative 80. And then I get negative 24x minus 21y equals 36. So my x's cancel. 32y minus 21y is 11y. Negative 80 plus 36 is going to be negative 44. Divide by 11, and y equals negative 4. Now, if you get some random decimal answer that's not like 0.5, or, you know, if you got something like 0.682 or something like that, chances are you've done something wrong. These problems are set up that you should pretty much have whole numbers for your answers. So now I have my y down here, okay? And then what I need to do is go back up to this equation here or this equation here, one of the two that have x's and y's only, and put that y in so that you can find your x. So I'm going to pick the 3x plus 4y equals negative 10. So I'm picking this right here. And then I'm going to take this negative 4 and put it in for y. So I'd get 3x plus 4 times a negative 4 equals negative 10. Now 4 times a negative 4 is minus 16. Add 16. And 3x equals negative 10 plus 16 is 6. Divide by 3, and x is 2. Okay? Then what you do, now you know two of your things. And now what we're going to try to do is find our z. With that, you have to go back up to one of the main equations. Okay, 1, 2, and 3 up here at the very beginning, and choose one of them. And again, it wouldn't matter if there's one that looks easier than the others. I'm going to do the first one, x plus 3y minus z. But again, you could do any. So I'm going to do x plus 3y minus z equals negative 11. My x is 2, so I'm going to put that in. My y is negative 4, and I'm going to solve for z. So x is 2 plus 3 times my y is negative 4 minus z equals negative 11. Okay, so I'd get 2, 3 times the negative 4 is minus 12 minus z equals negative 11. 2 minus 12 is a negative 10 minus z equals negative 11. Add 10 and negative z would equal a -1, divide by -1, and z is 1. Now, when you write your answer, you write what's called an ordered triple, and you put your x first, and remember our x was 2, okay? Then you write your y, which was -4, and then you write your z, which is 1. That is your answer. And you can go back to like the beginning, and you can put those answers in to -4, 1 into the equations and make sure that they work to see if you did it correctly. Like if I tried this first one, x is 2, 3 times 4 is a -12, and then -1. So this would be 2 minus 12 minus 1, which would be 2 minus 13, which is a -11. If I put 2 into the second one, 2 times 2 is 4, plus a -4 is 0, plus 1 is 1, so that works. And generally, if it works in one, it's going to work in all of them, but you really should check all of them. Okay? All right. So now let's go to this next page. And what we're going to notice in the next two examples is that you can have a no solution or an infinitely many solutions in these problems too. And we'll look at how can you tell, okay? So again, if I think of this as 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to look at my numbers in front of my x's, my numbers in front of my y's, my numbers in front of my z's, and think about which ones look like they have good numbers to work with. And in this one, I'd probably pick my x's, okay? So I'm going to pick 1 and 2, and I'm going to eliminate my x. All right. So I'm going to write those down first. 2x minus 3y plus 4z equals 5. And then 2x minus 2y plus 6z equals 4. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is take this top one, and I'm going to make the top one a -2x so that my x's will cancel. So I'm going to multiply this top equation, everything by a -1. So I'd get -2x plus 3y minus 4z equals a -5. These cancel. -2y plus 3y is y, plus 2z equals 4 minus 5 is -1. Okay? Now I need to pick a different two equations and eliminate for x again. I have to eliminate for x. And again, I could pick 2 and 3, or I could pick 1 and 3. Doesn't matter. Let's do 1 and 3. And we're going to eliminate our x again. So I'm going to write down 2x minus 3y plus 4z equals 5, and 3x minus 3y plus 9z equals 8. And I'm trying to eliminate my x's. 2 and 3 both go into 6, so I'm going to try to make one of them a +6 and one a -6. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to multiply the top one by 3 and the bottom one by a -2. So 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times a -3y is -9y. 3 times 4z is +12z. And 3 times 5 is 15. -2 times 3x is -6x. -2 times a -3y is +6y. -2 times 9z is -18z, and -2 times 8 is -16. My x's cancel, Negative 9y plus 6y is negative 3y. 12z minus 18z is minus 6z. And 15 minus 16 is negative 1. Okay? So again, now I have two equations with two variables in each of them. So I'm going to take this one and just write it down below this one. So negative 3y minus 6z equals negative 1. Okay? And then again, what we're going to try is to eliminate either our y's or our z's. And it doesn't matter. I'm going to take the top and I'm going to try to get rid of my y's. So I'm going to multiply by 3. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 2z is plus 6z. 3 times a negative 1 is negative 3. Okay? Notice my y's cancel and my z's cancel, so this is 0. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. So this is one of those special ones. It's either no solution or infinitely many solutions. And because 0 does not equal a negative 4, it's no solution. If it were infinitely many solutions, our y's would have crossed out, our z's would have crossed out, and our constants would have crossed out. So you're going to like the ones that are no solution or infinitely many solutions because you get to stop a lot quicker. Okay? All right, so let's go to this one. Again, I'm going to call one of them 1, one of them 2, one of them 3. If I look, notice like in equation 3, I kind of have yucky numbers in front of my x and y, whereas in all 3 of them, the numbers in front of my z's are small. So I'm going to try to eliminate my z's. So I'm going to first pick 1 and 2, and I'm going to eliminate my z's. So I have 3x plus 5y minus 2z equals 13. And then negative 5x minus 2y minus 4z equals 20. And I need to eliminate my z's is what we decided. Okay? So one of them is a negative 2z, one's a negative 4z. If I multiply this top equation by a negative 2, that should work. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this top equation by a negative 2. And I'm going to multiply by negative 2 on everything. So this would be a negative 6x, a minus 10y. Negative 2 times negative 2z is plus 4z's. So notice my z's are going to cancel. And negative 2 times 13 is minus 26. Okay, then you can cancel your z's. And what we would get here is negative 11x minus 12y equals negative 6. Okay. Now I need to pick a different 2 to eliminate my z's. And I'm going to do 1 and 3 now. I also could have done 2 and 3 if I wanted to. But the key is you have to eliminate the same variable each time. If you didn't, you would not have the same two variables when you get done, and there's nothing you'd be able to do with it. So if you eliminate z's the first time, you have to eliminate z's the second time. So now I have 3x plus 5y minus 2z equals 13. And then 3 is negative 14x minus 17y plus 2z equals negative 19. And notice in this one, our z's already cancel out. So 3x minus 14x is negative 11x. 5y minus 17y is minus 12y. And 13 minus 19 is minus 6. Okay? So now I'm going to bring this down here, And I have negative 11x minus 12y equals negative 6. Now this one just happens to be identical already. So that might tell you right there that it's infinitely many solutions. What that means is these are the same line. So they are going to intersect on each point on that line. But if you wanted to go ahead and do it just to show that they're all going to cancel, we could multiply this top by a negative 1, and we'd get 11x plus 12y equals 6. And when they cancel, this cancels, this cancels, this cancels. So we get 0 equals 0, and that means we have infinitely many solutions. Okay, we're going to do one more and then we'll be done for today. So let's go to this one, and we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, and what we're going to do is try to pick what we want to solve for. Okay, and this one doesn't really have one that looks like, oh, this would be so much easier. I might pick my z's again, but my x's don't look bad either. I probably would pick my z's. So I'm going to take 1 and 2 and eliminate my z's. Okay, so 2x plus 4y minus 5z equals 18, and negative 3x plus 5y plus 2z equals negative 27. And we are trying to eliminate our z's. So I want one of them to be 5 and 2 go into 10. I want one to be negative 10 and one to be positive 10. So I'm going to multiply the top one by a 2 and the bottom one by a negative 5. Okay, 2 times 2x is 4x, 2 times 4y is 8y, 2 times 5z is negative 10z, and 2 times 18 is 36. Okay, negative 5 times negative 3z is 50. Or times negative 3x is 15x. Negative 5 times 5y is negative 25y. Negative 5 times 2z is negative, oh, I should have multiplied this bottom one by a positive 5, not a negative 5. So, sorry about that. I'm going to get them, the way I did it, I'd get them both to be negative. So, sorry, I'm going to multiply it by a 5 instead, okay? So this would be negative 15x plus 25y plus 10z equals, and if you take 5 times negative 27, you're going to get negative 135, okay? My z's cancel. 4x minus 15x is negative 11x. 8y plus 25y is plus 33y. And 36 minus 135 is negative 99. Okay, now we have to take a different 2 and eliminate z's again. So I'm going to pick 2 and 3. I could have picked 1 and 3 or 2 and 3, but I decided to do 2 and 3, and I'm going to eliminate my z's again. So 2 is negative 3x plus 5y plus 2z equals negative 27. 3 is negative 5x plus 3y minus z equals negative 17. Okay, I have to eliminate my z's again. The top is plus 2z, so I'd like to get the second one to be a negative 2z. And if I multiply that whole bottom by 2, I would get that. So I'm going to multiply the whole bottom by 2, and I'd get negative 10x plus 6y minus 2z equals negative 34. And then I'm just going to copy this one down here and do negative 3x plus 5y plus 2z equals negative 27. Okay, when I add going down, I get negative 13x, 6y plus 5y is 11y. These cancel, and negative 34 minus 27 is negative 61. Okay, so now I have two equations with two variables. So let's go and write them underneath one another. So I'm going to just bring this one down here. So negative 13x plus 11y equals negative 61. Okay. All right. Then what I'm going to do is try to eliminate my y's. Now notice 33y and 11y both go into 33. So if I multiply this bottom one by a negative 3, that will work. This would be 39x minus 33y equals negative 3 times negative 61 is a positive 183. And then if I just bring this one down, negative 11x plus 33y equals negative 99. These cancel. 39x minus 11 is 28x equals 183 minus 99 is 84. Divide by 28, and x is 3. So that's my x. All right. Now what I'm going to do is go back to either this one or this one and put my x in there so that I can find my y. Okay, and it wouldn't matter which one. I might just use this one right here and put my x in there. Okay, so I'm going to take this 3 and put it in here for x. So I'd have negative 13 times 3 plus 11y equals negative 61. This is negative 39 plus 11y equals negative 61. Add 39 to bring it over. And I would get 11y equals, let's see, 22, negative 22. Divide by 11. And y is negative 2. Okay, so that is my y. Now, what I'll do last is go up to my original equations, pick one of them, and substitute in my x and my y so that I can solve for z. And I'm going to pick this top equation, but you could pick any of the three. Okay, so I'm going to write that down next. 2x plus 4y minus 5z equals 18. I'm going to put this 3 in for x, this negative 2 in for y. So it's 2 times 3 plus 4 times a negative 2 minus 5z equals 18. This is 6, this is minus 8, minus 5z equals 18. 6 minus 8 is negative 2. And then I'm going to add 2. And I get negative 5z equals 20. Divide by negative 5. And z is a negative 4. And then if you remember with these, you write it as a ordered triple, it's called. So my x goes first, that's 3. My y is negative 2. My z is negative 4. Okay, and then I could go back up and I could check 3, -2, -4. I could check if that works in any of them. So if I put 3 in the first x, 2 times 3 is 6. 4 times y is 4 times -2, which is -8. -5 times -4 is +20. Is that 18? 6 minus 8 is -2, plus 20 is 18. Okay, and you can check it in the second and the third also. So, one thing I want to tell you guys, and listen to this, I am planning on Monday and Tuesday to give you guys a quiz in class. So those of you that are A will take the quiz on Monday. Those of you that are B will take the quiz on Tuesday, and it'll be on what I taught yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Okay, just on those 3 days. And I'm doing that because then we can be done with chapter 1, and then we can move on to chapter 2. So you'll have a quiz on Monday if you're A, you'll have a quiz on Tuesday if you're B. Okay, so don't forget about that. And if you get stuck today, like say you're doing a problem and you do it and you do it and you do it and you keep, send me your work on a chat and I'll try to look over it and figure it out. These problems can be frustrating because you can make an easy mistake with a minus sign or multiply something wrong, add something wrong, and then your whole problem is ruined. So if you got a really weird decimal or something, and these answers would be in the back, so you should be able to check them. And obviously, if you don't have a ton of work, you're not going to get any points on homework. Do not turn this in, which is the answer. There's no way you would get any credit. Okay? Can you guys just let me know in the chat if I was glitchy at all today? If you heard me okay? Was it better than yesterday? Because I keep trying to change things up. If somebody would just chat me and let me know if it was better, or unmute and let me know, that would be good too. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. And sorry about yesterday, guys. All right, so that's your assignment. If you get stuck on a problem, send me your work and I'll try to help you out. Otherwise, we'll be finishing this section tomorrow and we'll have a quiz on Monday, okay? And Monday and Tuesday. Have a good day, guys. Goodbye.
Miss Bond, do you know how many questions this will be?
No, I haven't made it up yet. But I probably won't get to it until over the weekend. But if you ask me like on Sunday, I could certainly let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Miss Botten, do I have anything else missing, like, in class?